Hello, everybody. Welcome back. That was a great panel with Chris Draft and Brent Sopel and Matt Stover. Kayla, we want to thank you for moderating that and having everybody share their insight with us. It's great to get the athletes' perspective on some of the struggles that they see and some of the things that they face. We've had an incredible 2 days here. It's been a long 2 days, a lot of great information. We hope you come back and watch some more of it as you get a chance. It's hard to believe it was less than 36 hours ago that work done and Darren Gray let us off and set the tone for everything that has gone on. We had over 60 sessions, 7 main stage panels, 5 keynotes. We know there's a lot of content that was thrown at you in a short amount of time. So if you haven't had a chance to access it, the platform will be live through the end of December, and you can go back and watch anything that you might miss. I hope that before you leave, you'll thank me in joining our outstanding Sports Philanthropy Network team that put this whole event together and made this an incredible experience for everybody. Kayla Bradham, our VP of Community Development, Jack Wasserman, who's usually the Director of Development but is playing IT Director for Sports Philanthropy World, Brian Zuzga, our Director of Corporate Relations, Avi DeRossi, Kelsey Danolo, Tony Puglisi, Ryan Cameron, Hallie Phillips, Ethan Cohen, Wasim Mansour, Alexandra Bowman, Charles Branch, Stella McMillan, Vanessa Romero, all of our interns that did an amazing job getting everything together and helping clean up the mistakes and messes that I created. Their energy and effort is really a model, and we hope that this experience is something that they can remember for many years to come. So now to close out and send everybody off with a jolt of adrenaline and power, I want to introduce David Meltzer. David is the co-founder of Sports One Marketing and formerly served as the CEO of the renowned Lee Steinberg Sports and Entertainment Agency. We had a chance to hear Lee last night, who did a great job with us. And David's mission is to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. This simple yet powerful mission has led him on an incredible journey to provide one thing: value. In all his content and communication, that's exactly what you receive. As part of that mission for the past 20 years, he's been providing free weekly trainings to empower others to be happy. You really should jump on his trainings. David will give you the information and we can email that out to you as well. Learned a lot from those. Get on them whenever I can. David, by my calculation, if we take the 400 people that were part of the Sports Philanthropy World and divide up your goal, that means that each person only needs to reach a manageable 2.5 million people to get your goal achieved. So I know our network can handle that. But David, it's your turn to empower everybody else and wrap up Sports Philanthropy World.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here. What a great organization. Been a great part of my life, and I've learned so much from all the different sessions throughout the years that I've participated and listened to. You know, I used to step on stages with the announcement of my mission about empowering over 1 billion people to be happy. And as usual, people laugh at you, scoff at you, and make fun of you. And I would actually take a poll at the beginning. I'd say, my life's mission is to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. Who here thinks I can do that? And very few, if any, ever raised their hand. And then I explained to them after I was done speaking, which I'll do for you today, that what I'm truly looking for is 1,000 people. And to have 400 of you here is such a great advancement of the objective of 1,000 people. To empower 1,000 people is 1 million. To empower another 1,000 would be over 1 billion people. And why do I want to do that? Well, happiness to me is the greatest healer of all time. Happiness is incredible. It will strengthen us mentally, physically, emotionally, even financially. It actually strengthens our immune system, so it protects us against other viruses. In fact, happiness to me is the greatest virus of all time because it's the only virus that you can spread simply by witnessing it. And simply by witnessing happiness, it addresses adrenaline, it creates adrenaline in other people just by witnessing it. And so what I'm going to do is give you 5 daily practices that are based on 4 principles, 4 basic values in life. And the first value is gratitude. Now, I know everybody's sitting there and saying, I've heard the gratitude speech a million different times. In fact, I have a gratitude challenge that I give people. I say the easiest way to change your life is to simply to say thank you before you go to bed and when you wake up. And if I asked all of you who here thinks that they can say thank you before they go to bed and when they wake up for 30 straight days, which I guarantee, by the way, that will change your life, all of you would raise your hand. The saddest part about my gratitude challenge is by tonight, and I know it's late on the East Coast already, but by tonight, by the time you go to sleep, half of us won't say thank you. By tomorrow morning, another half of us won't say thank you. And within 3 days, almost all of us won't say thank you. It actually took me 9 months before I could actually remember to say thank you before I went to bed and when I woke up. That's how difficult even the simplest tasks are, including ones that I know to be true. Like gratitude is the most powerful thing on earth that will change your life. I have studied physics, quantum physics, and metaphysics. I have made over $100 million, lost it, and made it back again, all through the perspective of gratitude. Gratitude is the most powerful thing on earth. It's the ability to find the light, the love, and the lessons in everything. Gratitude takes pain, and instead of making it a stop sign, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, financial pain, which is quite prevalent today, it allows it to be a turn signal. That's right. It's just telling us as an indicator, a turn signal, that we have a lesson to learn in order to get somewhere better, to a better situation, or make our situation better. The second thing that we base these 5 daily practices on is forgiveness. Forgiveness to me is a bridge. It's a bridge to get me back to peace, a bridge to put me back to center, a bridge to place me in a higher self, a higher level of thinking, a higher frequency. Forgiveness is critical, and there's really only one person that we need to learn to forgive, and that's ourselves, because we can't give what we don't have. In fact, my motto in life is to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun in order to be happy. And people ask me all the time, well, how can you put making a lot of money first? That seems like a very scarce, not abundant attitude. I said, not really. I've shifted my entire paradigm in life to receive through me for others with appreciation, to add value and gratitude to everything that I have. I can't give what I don't have. I cannot be poor enough to make you rich. I can't be sick enough to make you well. I can't be unhappy enough to make you happy. I can be rich enough, happy enough, and well enough to make you rich, happy, and well, though. I promise you, we can only give what we have. The third thing is accountability. These 5 daily practices are based on the principle of accountability, that you have complete control of your life, right? Perspective is given by gratitude. Forgiveness gives us peace. The control in our lives, which is essential today in the extraordinary changes that we're going through. I don't want to have anyone tell me that we can't support philanthropy because we have such uncertain times. Because out of the hundreds of people that are here today, if anybody knows for sure what's going to happen tomorrow, please call me, because I guarantee you that we can make billions of dollars, and I can meet Roy's objective of giving billions of dollars to everybody on this call. So I don't know where or when people got this idea of certainty, because since the day I was born, every single day following has been uncertain. But what we are experiencing is extraordinary change, accelerated change. And with great change comes great opportunity, especially with the perspective of gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability. Accountability gives us control because we only have 2 questions asked. Number 1, what did I do to attract this to my life? And 2, what am I supposed to learn from it? What you'll learn throughout the 5 daily practices is that life is about lessons. The lessons will keep on coming until you learn them. And we result in pain, right? That indicator that we must move in a different, a better position, a better situation in order to learn that lesson. The greatest thing I know about lessons is, one, as I indicated about the thank yous, you're going to forget every lesson you've ever learned. I forget all the lessons I learn every day, but I have the power to access them. And more than ever, I have the power to access my lessons, even ones that I haven't learned. And then finally, the last principle that these 5 daily practices are based upon is inspiration. Understanding inspiration is not motivation. Motivation will get you up, get you back up, get you started, get you back started. But we have to learn to take that momentum that gets us going and transition it into a world of more than enough of everything for everyone. This is where true faith and giving is created, when we don't live in a world of not enough. Right? I grew up with a single mom, 6 kids. She used to work 2 jobs. She packed my dinner in a paper bag in a station wagon and took off to fill turnstiles at the 7-Eleven with greeting cards. And I lived in a world of not enough. I was a victim. I lived in a world of why me? Why can't I have? Why? And then I moved as a multimillionaire into the world of just enough. where money buys happiness. You know, I wanted to be rich my entire life just so I could buy my mom a house and a car, made $1 million right out of law school, multimillionaire by the time I was 26. And I lived in a world of just enough for me. I thought I was an optimist and a philanthropist because I would give to receive. The problem with giving to receive is it's a trade, it's a negotiation, it's a scarce mental state. What we want to live in, what we want to practice is abundant, where we have complete faith that everything comes through us for others. And what we want to do in order to that is have as much as we can, living in limitlessness and infinity, living in abundance, where everything comes through us for others without scarcity, without trading. Money doesn't buy love or happiness, but what it does is it allows us to shop. And if we shop for the right things, not the things to be victims, not the things that we don't need or different things that we don't need, or even worse, things to impress other people, or even worse than that, things to impress other people we don't even like, which a lot of people have done, and I did in my lifetime. But I want everyone to live in this philanthropic world, not of trading and negotiation, but simply of more than enough, an abundant world of more than enough of everything for everyone. So, what are these 5 daily practices? Number one, in order to empower others to be happy, you need to take inventory of your values. You need to know your what. Your why will come. Most people don't know what they want. Go ahead, test it out tonight. Go, hey, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to watch? I don't know. What do you want to eat? I don't know. But if you take inventory of your values, your personal values, your non-negotiable values, for me, it's my health, number one. 2, it's my family. 3, it's studying, paying attention to and giving intention to the coincidences I want in my life, that mathematical equation of luck, attention plus intention equals coincidence. Not only am I taking inventory of my personal values, but your experiential values. Know what you want to do during the day. Maximize your day by knowing what you want to do experientially. What do I want to get out of that day? And then 3, your giving values. What do I want to produce? How do I want to help? Right? The number one way to feel good, people ask me, they're anxious, they're worried, they're depressed, even suicidal. I tell them all the time, I got one simple healing methodology. It's do good deeds. I guarantee, no matter what mental mindset, heart set that you in, the way that you feel, the way that you think, the minute you do something for someone else, the minute you do good, you'll feel better. It's an instantaneous result. The truth vibrates the fastest. The easiest way to live to your potential and live to your truth is to give. And the only thing we can do to give more is to receive more. And that's the 4th value that I want you to take inventory of every day, receiving. I want you to take inventory of what you want during the day and don't be afraid to get it. You can't literally out-ask the universe, which I'm going to get to. So your personal experiential giving and receiving values, you can't give what you don't have. The other rule of taking inventory of your values is don't be afraid of being a hypocrite. So many people are afraid of change. They're afraid to tell people, hey, I changed my mind. There's one thing I know from being more interested than interesting. There's one thing I know about pursuing my potential, and that is the more that I know, the more I realize I don't know. And so I really have to focus in on gathering and understanding, being interested to get as much as I can in order to give it away. Number one, take inventory of your values. Don't be afraid of being a hypocrite. All it means is you're growing and learning, and it means you're accelerating and growing. It means you can help more people. 2, ask. Now, this is really interesting because, you know, philanthropic behavior is about giving. I believe it starts with receiving. And the number one rule, the number one thing that I work on every day, it still sits on my nightstand, 2 words. And it's not thank you. I've surpassed that knowledge. It is simply radical humility. My biggest downfall in my life still today is I'm afraid to ask. I'm afraid to receive. I'm afraid to ask for help. I feel it might make me feel not worthy or inferior or superior, some ego-based emotion. You need to learn to ask. The easiest way to get to somewhere is to find somebody that is where you want to be and ask them for directions. You cannot out-ask the universe. You can't ask big enough. You can't ask enough. So many people are afraid of receiving. And guess what they're doing? They're hurting everyone because they don't have enough to give. They live their life in scarcity because they're afraid to ask for help. They're afraid to ask for what they want. There's only two series of questions in life that you need to know. One is a series of questions to figure out how you can be of service or value to others, learning to understand where the void, shortages, and obstacles in their lives occur so you can give what you have to them to help them and heal them. But more importantly, you need to ask this. And if you're going to write down one thing that I'm telling you, if I speak too quickly, I'll slow it down. Do you know anyone that can help me? Learn the series of questions to figure out, do you know anyone that can help me? Let me tell you why. Because on average today, people know at least 1,000 people. When I was growing up, we were lucky if somebody had a card game or a golf game or a church group or a few people that could help me. But today, on average, 10-year-olds have 1,000 people in their network. And if you're not asking people, do you know anyone that can help me? You're limiting your flow. You're limiting your giving capability, your philanthropic behavior. You're limiting yourself. You got to be brave enough and humble enough to ask for help. You got to start looking at people not as gatekeepers, but everybody in my life. I set forth a vision that everyone is a sponsor or a power sponsor of mine. Everyone's looking to help me. And if they can't help me, they're looking to find somebody to help me. They're either sponsors or power sponsors. So learn the two valuable lessons, inventory of value and asking two series of questions. One, do you know anyone that can help me? And two, how can I be of service or value to you? Number three, be more interested than interesting. Be a student. Now, I know my mom is going to be watching this going, I can't believe the only anti-education son that I had, the one who resisted me again and again. My siblings all went to the Ivy League, summa cum laude, Harvard, Penn, Columbia. I went kicking and screaming the entire way that I hated to study. My entire life is about studying. I had mentioned earlier the definition of studying is pay attention to and give intention to what coincidences you want in your life. And the most important thing that I study is my calendar, the activity I have planned, the activity I don't have planned, and my sleep. Sleep, the number one habit we all share. I actually have an unwinding routine. I think of sleep as an exercise. Unwinding is warming up to that exercise. My tomorrow starts today. I think that people don't pay enough attention to their sleep. They can't receive enough because they're not literally taking advantage of one of the greatest experiences of subconscious and unconscious connectivity that we have. Not only physical rest, but an unbelievable opportunity to learn more and allow life to come through us so we can help other people. But you need to use a lens of productivity when you're studying your calendar, the activity you get paid, planned and unplanned in your sleep, and also a lens of accessibility. How accessible am I to others? And how am I accessing what I get? And of course, that lens of gratitude that we talked about earlier. Find the light, the love, and the lessons. Pain is just an indicator you have a lesson to learn. Make sure you understand it's just that indicator, a turn signal. Get excited when pain comes. You don't have to enjoy the pain, but get excited that you're going to end up somewhere better, brighter, in a better situation or make your situation better if you learn that lesson. The fourth daily practice is to practice ending fear. And I'm sorry, fourth day practice is do it now. Do it now. People ask, what is being present? Doing things now. Now, I hate statistics. The only statistic I ever loved before was 99% of all statistics are made up. And with the election 1 week away, I think we're learning more and more that 99% of all statistics are made up. I owned a golf course. I learned a second statistic to be true. 100% of my short putts never went in. And I've never seen a short putt go in. So 100% of all short putts don't go in. But the most valuable statistic I've learned is 100% of the things I do now get done. 100% of the things I do now get done. And the difference between successful, philanthropic people, fulfilled people, passionate people, purposeful people, and profitable people is they get stuff done. So learn to do things now. Learn to prioritize them by the inventory of the values that you took at the beginning of the day. Learn to utilize two questions. One, what can I do this now? And if so, do it. And if you can't, put it into your calendar to study for tomorrow, utilizing the inventory of values that you take tomorrow. So number one, take inventory of your values. Don't be afraid of being a hypocrite. Utilize two series of questions to ask big enough and enough times to even satisfy the universe. 3, study, pay attention to and give intention to the coincidences we want. And 4, do it now. Be present, get stuff done according to the values that you have. And now finally, The biggest practice in my life is the practice ending fear. The fifth daily practice will change your life. And we have to realize there's four things that we need to do in order to practice ending fear. And one is to identify it. There's two types of fear that we have in our life. One, primary fear. Those are the Freudian fears that we studied for years and years and years that are innate in our own quantum being. But then there's secondary fears. And these fears are harder to identify. These fears are the most costly of all fears. These are the fears that interfere with what we're always connected to, the light, the love, and the lessons of everything, the abundant world that's going to not only allow you to be happy, but allow you to empower others to be happy. This secondary fear, they're hard to identify. And what we want to do is use those values, gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability, as a bridge to get us back to center, to get us back to peace, so we can move in the right direction. Some of those secondary fears for me have cost me not millions, but billions of dollars. Things like the need to be right. Imagine if I could extract all the time, money, and resources and relationships that you have ruined because you had a need to be right. Usually over quite silly things like directions, or whether or not, something was opened or closed, or some other stupid statistic that probably wasn't even true. But imagine the time, money, and resources and relationships for the need to be offended. I wish I could feed the world, the needs to feed the world. If I could feed the world as quickly as I can feed the need to be offended, there would be plenty of food for everyone. If you have a need to be offended, go ahead, step outside your door right now with that need. I promise it'll be fulfilled in the first 3 seconds. The need to be separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, worried, resentful, guilty. Imagine how much time, money, resources, and relationships have been completely destroyed and wasted because of the needs of the secondary ego. The ego, which represents what? 1, employment status, E. 2, what we get, greed, G. And O, what other people think. If we work on understanding and identifying when we're in ego-based consciousness, when we are separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, guilty, when we create interference, void, shortages between us and this unbelievable, powerful source of light, love, and lessons that creates happiness, not only for us, but comes through us with appreciation for others, you'll be amazed how quickly your life will change. So number one, identify when you are in fear-based or ego-based consciousness. The second step is simple, but ferocious. Stop. Can you imagine in the middle of a heated argument, when feeling guilty, worried, that you actually could just stop? Instead of accelerating in the wrong direction, creating void, shortages, and obstacles by moving so quickly in that adrenaline-based mood that we get into with all of those different needs. Imagine being able to stop. So practice stopping when you identify you're in ego-based consciousness. It may take you years to stop. It may take you months to stop, weeks, days. Soon it will take you hours, minutes, and hopefully moments. Over the last 15 years, I've been able to create a practice of that and move the amount of time that it takes me to stop from years, months, and weeks into minutes and moments, saving tons of money, time, resources, and relationships in my life. And when we stop, now we use that bridge of forgiveness and peace and happiness, accountability, and gratitude to take us to center by simply dropping. We breathe through our nose, out through our mouth, find our center, find our highest frequency, and then we roll in the right trajectory, in the right direction, towards the objectives that were based off of the values that we took inventory at the beginning of the day. And if we realize when we're in ego-based consciousness, that our mind, our body, and our soul are on fire. And everybody knows when you're on fire, you need to stop, drop, and roll. So practice identifying those needs of the ego, identify the primary and secondary fears that you have, and stop, drop, and roll. Live your life towards the trajectory that you have. Now, this may sound subtle, but I'm going to give you a quick story of how all this comes into play. I believe in life you should have 2 routines. You should have a strict routine for when your life is in its normal state. You wake up at a certain time. For me, I wake up at 4 a.m. every morning. Of course, my routine starts tonight at 9 p.m. when I start my unwinding routine. But I wake up at 4 a.m. every morning. I meditate for 20 minutes to find my highest self. I don't want to live the myth of Sisyphus. I don't want to push a boulder to the top of the hill every day just to have it roll down. I live my life with a higher baseline, a higher frequency to plateau and grow via meditation, finding that baseline every day, taking 10 minutes to get ready, then spending a minimum of an hour a day on my health, going to work out. And then I have an adaptable routine, a second routine based off of my values, where I spend a minimum when family's in town or I have a party or something screwed up, I travel. I make sure that my first priority is my health. If you don't take care of yourself, you cannot be a philanthropist. If you don't take care of your health, you can't take care of anyone else. So take care of yourself. Find something you love to do, a minimum of an hour a day. Take care of your health. I then spend a minimum of 30 minutes with my wife, minimum of 30 minutes with my 10-year-old son, minimum of 2 minutes a day with my 3 teenage daughters. I negotiated for 5, they gave me 2. And then a minimum of 1 minute a day. Maybe the best piece of advice I can give you in being happy is if you have any difficulties with children or parents, there's only 4 things you got to relate to them every day for a minute. 1, that you're happy. 2, that you're healthy. 3, that you love them. And 4, that you appreciate them, that you bring value and they bring value to you. If you tell someone every day in a minute's time that you're happy, healthy, love, and appreciate, your relationship will grow and expand. People who love you, that are closest and most relative to you, that's all they want. They just want you to be happy, healthy, appreciate, and love each other. That's all they really want. They will create all kinds of stories around it. They'll create all kinds of interferences, voids, and ego around it. But in the end, if you can communicate effectively every day in your closest relationship, those 4 things, you'll be fine. So have your set routine and your adaptable routine. I wake up at 4 a.m. on Saturday and meditate. I'm feeling at my highest frequency, so blessed to be alive and so happy to be alive. Walking outside to go to the gym to work out and spend a minimum of an hour a day on my health. And my 17-year-old daughter's car is missing. Now, I immediately go into ego-based consciousness. I'm furious. It's 4:30 a.m. on a Saturday morning. I call my daughter and I hang up because I knew I was so angry. I knew that I was about to say, "Where the F are you? Where the F is your car?" And I knew where that would take me. And so I stopped and I asked myself, why do I feel this way? And I realized I wasn't angry at all. I started breathing, going to my higher frequency, back up to the baseline where I started my day through meditation. And I realized that I was terrified. I was terrified that something had happened to someone that was most relative to me, that I was responsible for. And as I breathed more and started moving into the trajectory of the values that I took inventory of during my meditation, of peace, love, happiness, and health, I realized that I was about to make a big mistake. So instead, I called my daughter in a better mindset, in a better heart set, not a fear-based, ego-based emotion, but one of love and appreciation. And she answered. I woke her up. She said, "Hello." I said, "Hi, where are you?" "Oh, Dad, I'm in my bed." "Where's your car?" "Oh, it's at the grocery store. You told me if kids are drinking, quote unquote, that I should Uber home." Now I knew kids were drinking, what that meant. And I told her, "Wow, I'm so proud of you. I'm glad you're safe." She said, "Thanks, Dad." I said, "I'm sorry I woke you." She said, "It's okay. I love you." I said, "I love you too." Now you might wonder why on the Sports Philanthropy Keynote, I'm finishing with this subtle story of happiness. Because this is how and why people snowball in the wrong direction. This is why they accelerate in the wrong direction. This is why they don't have enough to give to others through them with appreciation and love. Because if I would have called in ego-based consciousness and said, "Where the F are you?" She would have said, "In my bed." "Where the F is your car?" She would have said, "You told me to take an Uber when kids are drinking." I would have said, "You were drinking. I'm going to take your car and your phone." And she would have said, "F you," and hung up on me. If that wasn't bad enough, destroying the bond and trust between me and one of the most important people in my life, what happens next time, quote unquote, kids are drinking? And my daughter rationally in her head says, "I don't want to aggravate my father. I don't want to disappoint him. I think I don't want to lose my phone or my car. I think I'm going to drive home." My life could change forever. Her life could change forever. Someone that we don't even know life would change forever. When you talk about empowering others to empower others to be happy, when you talk about receiving so you can give, not giving to receive, not a negotiation or a trade in your life, not living in a world of not enough where everything happens to you like a victim or for you buying things you don't need to, literally impress people you don't like, but living in an abundant world, one that you can stop, drop, and roll, one that you can receive more than enough to come through you for everyone else, where you truly can expand and grow to create more than enough, live between limitlessness and infinity. If you take inventory of your values, if you ask and attract, if you are a student of your calendar, if you do things now, and most importantly, learn to practice fear and to live at your higher self, to enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of your potential, not somebody else's potential, not the potential that you don't want. If you vote for what other people want, you're going to get what they want and resent them. If you vote for what you don't want, you're going to get what you don't want. Vote for what you want. And if you do that, I promise you, you will be happy and you'll be able to empower others with that happiness as well. And if you do that, if you can be one of my 1,000, we can create a collective consciousness of happiness. We can strengthen everyone mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. And if we can do that, I promise you, it will make me happy. Thank you, everyone, so much. So valuable. I'd be happy to take a couple questions. Roy gave me the opportunity. He told me if I went a half hour, I could earn a couple questions from you. So hopefully someone has some.
Let's see what we got here, David. I know there's always great people that are interested in what you're doing, so I'm just going to check the chat here and see what we've got going for questions.
Probably should have told them up front, but you got me so inspired I didn't want to go eat.
So David's sharing his information here. We'll put that in the chat and also under his bio. You've got access.
Got one question from Brandon, right? We'll finish with that one.
Okay.
Oh, do you have a YouTube channel? Yeah. Let me just finish with this. I give trainings every Friday for free. I've done it for over 20 years. You can email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I have a text community, 949-298-2905. I give all my books, exercises, guides for free. All the replays of my trainings are featured on Spotify. They're featured on Entrepreneur, every platform. You can watch the replays on a special featured playlist on Spotify. You can join my text community. You can email me directly. I'll send everybody a book. I will sign it. I will pay for shipping. I am as abundant as I can be to help others, to inspire others, to empower others. Please don't be shy. Please ask for help. Reach out to me, david@dmeltzer.com. Most importantly, before I go eat, thank you so much, everyone. I'm a huge fan of the Sports Philanthropy Network. Huge fan of Roy. So gracious of everyone to take their time over the past 2 days to expand and accelerate for the betterment of all. And most importantly, as my friend Lee Steinberg taught me, be kind to your future self. Do good deeds.
Thank you, David. We really appreciate your time. And with all of those offers that David put out there, I want to express how sincere he is. You're not going to get just autoresponder messages and things. David gets back to you individually. He will definitely send you those books. There's incredible messaging in the books. Every week at his trainings, he does some handouts and giveaways and some terrific takeaways that you can take with you. So, David, thank you so much for being here to help close a tremendous 2 days at Sports Philanthropy World.
Thank you for the opportunity. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Thank you. And we want to thank everybody else for joining us here at Sports Philanthropy World 2020. We really appreciate you taking 2 days out of your schedule to share it with us. We know that that's a big commitment and sharing it with us in our community. There's a lot of competing demands for time and attention. And the fact that you have been here throughout and right to the end demonstrates your commitment to helping us build stronger, healthier, and more inclusive communities. We hope you do not wait until Sports Philanthropy 2021 to join us again. Now that's June 28th, 29th, by the way. Get involved in what we were doing. Interact with us on social media. We're easy to find. Read our weekly newsstand, which comes out on Mondays. Listen to our podcasts, which are released now Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Attend our webinars and trainings, and most importantly, stay in touch. As we close out Sports Philanthropy World 2020, I want to say another thank you to our talented Sports Philanthropy Network team that really worked hard to put all of this together. Thank you. Before we sign off, I want one last reminder as the closing words: live generously. Thank you.